Hello everyone, I am back with another Destash video. This will be lot number 5 and video number 5 in my Destash series. I do have enough Destashes to film a video every day this week. So I have sorted through my supplies and I'm being very picky and I'm keeping things that I know that I will use, especially for the projects that I do, and anything else I'm going to go ahead and let go. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so this is going to be a mixed box full of just all different crafting supplies. These crafting supplies would work great for any type of craft projects, junk journals, card making, just really any craft projects that you do. So the first things that I have here are going to be some different colors and styles of ribbon. Here is a gold glitter, and this one I think I may have only used a little piece out of that, so the majority of that is left. These are going to be new and also vintage. And this one, I'm not even sure if I even used anything off this, maybe just a little bit. And this one, I think I just used a small portion. This one I did not even open. So I think I remember buying it for a project and then decided not to use it or found something different. So there's that. I think there's just a little bit of blue left on that one. And here is some yellow. Some more yellow. And you'll see it's just all sorts of different colors. If you like crafting with different colors, this would be a great lot for you. Some green and orange, and okay, so one's light, one's dark. Alright, and then we have a little bit of gold and pink, and some more gold ribbon. And I think that might be it for the ribbon. So then I also have several rolls of wallpaper border, and I have kept a little bit of some of them, but there's just no way I can use all of this. So that is going in the box there. And I recently made a pocket, I believe it was a pocket, using some of this wallpaper border, and it turned out really pretty. So then this one, okay, here we go. This one is really pretty. It's like a garden. Then I found these scissors, and I don't use them anymore, so I am going to put those in there. You will get an assortment of small envelopes, and these are pretty thick. So the pink ones aren't as thick, but the white ones are pretty thick. So those would be great for tea dyeing, coffee dyeing, staining, and using in your projects. Then we have several of these postlets, I believe they're called. And you will also get some vintage note cards. More vintage note cards. Here is a library pocket. And here is a vintage birthday card. So, a doily, one of those paper doilies. I think they're used for to set desserts on, but of course it would work great in journals. Here we have a vintage doilies book and another vintage daily book. And some more envelopes. These are textured. And a journal card. It looks like there's just a huge mix of all different types of things. A couple scraps of vintage or antique music sheets. And just all sorts of different envelopes. And these are the nicer envelopes. You can see the speckles in there on that one. This is just a Hallmark envelope, but purple, perfect for projects. Here's some vintage note papers. And here is a really cool long envelope. Another white envelope. Here's some vintage note papers. And I think this went with some note cards, but I kept it because the images, and I just thought it could be used in a junk journal or something, and I just thought those were so adorable. Alright, and this I thought was so cool. I wanted to use it. It is the spine off of an antique book, but I know this can be used for something. I just thought it was so cool. Here is a vintage packaging box, I guess. But I thought these could be used somehow in a junk journal or something. Here we have a box of different vintage learning cards. Box with it. It doesn't come, it's not together. I think this had vintage recipe cards or something in it. Then we have some vintage coasters with some nice little images, and they're on front and back. So you get all of those. Here are some more vintage note cards. Again, most of these items are going to be vintage. This is so cool. Tie-dyed envelope. You will get this line dropper postcards. These are vintage as well, and the entire package is almost there. Here we have some Polaroid postcards. I'm not sure what this is. I've bought so much stuff, sometimes I don't even know. I should be ashamed. Okay, so let's see what they look like here. How to use Polaroid postcards. So, I don't really know what this is, but I'm sure it could be used in projects. So there will be a box of those. And there's some sequins, some cord, and looks like ribbon, more ribbon. Here are some gummed index tabs and some vintage stamps. I believe they're all canceled. Some vintage cards, vintage playing cards. They have some nice age to them. Here is a macrame hang-ups. This is dated 1973. And sometimes I buy this stuff to look at it because I just love the older advertising, and I just love reading about how they used to do things. So there's some nice images, and this can definitely be used for junk journals or crafting projects. Then we have an assortment here of vintage papers. There's still quite a bit, so I probably need to move it along. Here is, I guess, a travel map, road atlas. And let me see if I can find the date. 2001. So if you go by the 20-year rule, that is just considered vintage. So you will get that. Perfect for travel journals. All right, so I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit. More vintage note cards, and it looks like we have some 1933. I think this is a letter. There's some old checks. All right, some more checks, some book pages, and some of the stuff I do not even remember. So it's just a nice little assortment. It looks like this might be a recipe. Tuna lasagna. All right, I don't know if that sounds good or not, but that would be great for maybe a recipe journal. There is a little article, more old book pages. Here is Cinnamon Scented Cuisine and Crafts. Little book. Let me see if I can find a date on this one. 1994. And it just has some craft projects and recipes, I believe. Here is some more book pages. They have some nice images on them. And this box has one of the old photos, some more check cards. Here is a vintage recipe card, and one of these adorable kitten cutouts. Here is, what are these called? Tally cards, I believe. So that is vintage. And more vintage cards. Some vintage note sheets. Here is a vintage, what is this? Postcard, I guess. And here is a pattern or something. There's an old greeting card. I don't know what this is, but I am going to throw it in. I do remember getting that, and I thought it looked cool. So there is a vintage packaging, more cards, more checks. Here's another one of those. I don't know if it's the same thing, but it is like a slide. So I'm sure it could probably be taken apart or repurposed into something in a craft project. Alright, more envelopes. Here's just bits and pieces if you do any type of collage work. There is a vintage, I think it's to put into recipe books so you can make a comment about the recipe and everything, and it's kind of like a bookmark. Here is, that's probably antique. There's an adorable envelope. Some of the old newspaper notepads. Here is another vintage recipe card, and I actually would love to have that right now. That looks so good. This is just so cute. It's a vintage envelope, a vintage greeting card, and another old photo. Here is a vintage envelope, and that's, I'm not sure what that is. It's some sort of game piece or learning piece or something like that. Some more of the vintage note paper, and I don't know if that's thread or what that is, but it was in here, so I'm keeping it in the box. Some more stamps. I don't know if this box is ever going to end. Here is an old Missouri sales tax receipt. Another one of those envelopes. More vintage cards. And here is, I can't remember what this is called, but it is vintage. And I am just going to start showing everything because this is taking me so long to get through it. This is a cool bingo card. And here is a human chemicals book. And it is dated 1911, so that is antique. A few more cards. Stamp, another tally. A craft things magazine. I don't see the date, but it's probably somewhere around late 70s, early 80s. It has some really great images. It has some great aging on it. And this is the kind of stuff that I love to look at. So I've looked at everything and I am ready to pass these along. So you will get that, and then I think there might be one other thing in here if I can get it out of the box. Okay, there is a pledge from Smokey to prevent forest fires. Here is withholding of income tax and wages. And this, if I'm not mistaken, okay, yes, 1946. All right, some more of that, a few more pieces of vintage paper, and I believe that is it. As you can see, it is a huge amount of supplies. So this is going to be $25 shipped. If you're interested, I will leave my email in the description below. It will be PayPal only, US only. If you do live outside the US and you are interested, just contact me and we can work out a shipping cost. If you have any questions, let me know, and thank you so much for watching.